Jeff Altgilbers, and it's February 24th, and it's Monday. Tonight we are doing our Monday mentoring call. For those of you that are listening on the other side of the world, you're hearing this on Tuesday, and I guess it's your Tuesday mentoring call. But for those of us in North and South America, this is our Monday mentoring call. I want to wish all you guests or give you a big welcome for being on this call. For those of you that might be new, my name is Jeff Altgilbers, and I'm a Platinum International Diamond with 4Life Research. I've been with the company for 15 years, and not too many people are ever with the company that long, that's for sure. But I give the credit not to me, but to our great company, 4Life Research. And it's such a wonderful opportunity, an opportunity that I believe will never repeat itself because of the very unique products that we carry in our line, our transfer factor products that today we have over 17 patents on. So I give a lot of the credit to that and to some of the great leadership, not only in our corporate, but certainly in the field, you leaders that are on this call. What a great job you are doing, and we're all doing this together. And that's why we have a slogan, Together Building People. And that's what the purpose really of this call is all about, is to really mentor you, to build you up so that you can achieve the very things that you want out of 4Life. I certainly want to see that happen for you. You know, we really think about, our why. Why do we get involved in 4Life? Because that's what's going to propel us forward. That's going to give us the energy. That's going to put the wind in our sails to help us to be successful in this business. We have to know our why. What do we really want? Not so much out of 4Life. What do we really want out of our own life? Out of our own life. 4Life is simply the vehicle to get you there. That's all it is. That's all it is. My dream, my passion was to never join 4Life. My dream and passion was to find my purpose in life. Things that would truly be happy. Things that would really give me purpose and satisfaction. And then I saw 4Life as the vehicle that would get me there. And we all made the right choice. That is for sure. We made the right choice. I remember when I was looking at companies and I was just looking at their product lines, and I finally, when I saw this, I said to myself, this is the one. And after this, I'll never need to do a company again. I hope that you come to that conclusion yourself. We're still a small fish in the MLM world, and that's good in a way, because it just simply means there's a tremendous amount of opportunity out there. There's so many future platinums that are going to be in our company. Why not you? Why not you? Because it can be you. Well, I want to continue on talking about one of the most invaluable skills that we need to develop in this business, and that is people skills. We're in the people business. I'm not in the nutritional product business. Somebody asked me, well, what do you do? Well, I coach people. That's what I do. You friends on this call tonight, that's what you do. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to be mentors. And that is learn how to coach people. Certainly, we got to learn how to coach ourselves first, right? We got to become students of leadership. And then we can teach it down. Everybody is standing on the shoulders of somebody. This didn't originate from, with me. It certainly didn't originate with the people that are my mentors. They had mentors too. The thing is, they passed it down to me, just like a father does to a son. And just as I want my sons to be able to pass it down to their sons, you leaders have to do the same thing, and that is to pass on principles of leadership, things that will help people be successful. And that's why we have this organization called International Mentors Team. Because I want people to mentor people. I don't want to call myself this is our networking team. Many people have different names, different teams that they call themselves. What does that mean? What, you were recruited? Okay. Now, who's going to mentor you? Very few people do that. They just sponsor, and then they leave them. And then they wonder why they fail. So what we have to do is we know to be successful, very successful in this business, we have to mentor those people that join our organization. And we have a system in place, and for you new people that have just joined us, as it will be explained to you by whoever invited you on the call, that you have you'll get your own free website from International Mentors Team. You'll have your own back office with all the tools you need, a free ebook. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. And you'll have all the tools in order to present and sponsor people. It's all in the back office. It's all there. And the reason why that it's online, and I think you know, is that it's so easy to be able to reach people, educate people, and get them through the process of growing much quicker if everything is online, all the tools, if it's all there. I mean, when you observe people today, and I've said this many times, whether it's in restaurants, malls, Starbucks, wherever you go, what are they doing? What are they doing now that they really weren't doing 10 years ago? They're not looking at one another too much, are they? They're looking at their smartphones. That's right. People connect to technology. They're very into it. And so for that reason, a system that can help people to duplicate, where you do not lose the DNA of leadership, will make a very successful organization. I use that word DNA because isn't that how you get cancer? When your cells no longer duplicate the way that they were designed, then that leads to cancer, and then certainly that's not good. That's a very unhealthy situation. It's true in organizations. You sponsor 6 people, who sponsor 6, who sponsor 6. You go, whatever, as deep as you go. Once it gets beyond your first or second level, you really don't know what's going on in your organization. That's why you have to have a system of duplication. But let me get back to that subject now about people and developing people skills. And that, one of the most important overlooked things and truths about network marketing, I learned this years ago, and that is when people come in to a company like For Life, they come in for usually one reason. Some come in for the products, but I'm talking about for those who come in with the intent of joining because of the business, they come in because they want to make money. So people will come in for money, but will that keep them? No, that will not keep them in. If it's money alone, they will not stay. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. And that is that people have to be appreciated. That's right. I've seen leaders just leave when they felt like they weren't appreciated. And they would go to another company where they would find that appreciation, even if it meant making less money. That's right. Appreciation becomes more important than money. In the beginning, it's money. Later on, it's recognition. Making that person feel valuable. Henry Thoreau is one of my favorite authors. I'll quote him. He says, "The greatest compliment that was ever paid me was when someone asked me what I thought and attended to my answer." He understood the importance of that. Really, when you think about building a team, the secret to success, we've talked about this before, about doing the 30-minute follow-up call after you've emailed someone the video webinar, the presentation, our opportunity presentation, and you tell them, you know what, John, this is something we both can do together, have a lot of fun, and make a lot of money. Are you ready to join me and get started? Just something simple like that. But you can also add something with that, and that gets back to what we're discussing about making people feel appreciated. You can also let them know, I can't do it without you. John, I can't do it without you. You're a bright person, and I really value you, John. You would be such an asset to my team, and I think I'd be an asset to you too. I think we work good together. Expressions like that go a long way with people. The problem with some leaders is they stumble when they get in this business. They start believing that people need them when the very opposite is true. And I've seen this. I've seen this with some leaders where they get this big ego and they want to, as if they're superior to their team. Big mistake. There's a lot you can learn from your downline. There's a lot I learned from my downline. And I don't hesitate to ask them for their opinions and their help. And you know what I found? They want to give it. That's when we really realize that if we ever want to be great, it's the result of turning the dream from me to we. From me to we. Or from you to them. It's really going to take a group effort. We can't do this alone. We cannot do this alone. And some of these people that in the past, I've seen it in network marketing over the last 20, 30 years. These people have developed egos and they want to deify themselves. Like as if anybody's going to build monuments to them. You're going to go to, New York City. You're going to go to Central Park and see a monument. Oh, there's the monument to so-and-so, the great leader of For Life. It's not going to happen, folks. You know what? What I realize in this business is that we're going to make great friendships. Great friendships. And great friendships can go for a lifetime. And then hopefully we'll make a great friendship with God. He's the one that's going to keep us alive for eternity. We just have to realize we can't do this alone. And we're going to need help. So then what we really have to do is that we have to create a dream. And then we also realize if the dream can be achieved without the help of other people, it's really a small dream. It's not a big dream. We need to create a dream that's big enough that we're going to say, wow, man, I've got to get other people involved. Now think about this. When we think about For Life, it's not about just money. It is not just about money. Lives are changed for the better. Not only as leaders, but when you look at the foundation for life, what we've done, the schools that we've opened up in very poor countries for children who would not be able to go to school or couldn't afford school books. Or what about the children around the world that with our Fortify product, giving food to the hungry, to families that couldn't afford food? Is that not a worthy vision to get behind? What a great company we have. How many companies really have that? I think it's awesome. But there's more to it. You can make the dream even bigger than that. And personally, you can personalize it. Things that are important to you. Things that you can do and make a contribution to humanity and say, wow, I'm getting great satisfaction out of that. I'll give you one example. I don't want to toot my horn, But I'm going to give the example only because it's an example. That's all. There's a man in the Philippines that his sister is a distributor, but she contacted me when he was in the hospital for cancer, and she wanted to get him on the products. She was too poor to afford the products he would need. That was one issue. Second issue was they couldn't even pay the hospital bill. Well, the problem with that is, in that country, you don't get treatment. And then second, they don't let you go either if you don't pay the bill. So she called on me to ask if I would help. And I made a few phone calls and had some people check it out to validate the story, and found out it was true and all that. And this is a man with 3 children. His youngest son is, I believe, 5. It's very, emotional. But I had to visualize and put myself where that person is. And I thought, this is terrible. This is bad, And he'll die. And then where the children will be without a father. Well, that's part of my dreams. As I've said in the past on our calls, we dream many dreams. We don't have just one dream when we come into For Life. Sure, we may have one dream. We want to pay the bills, and then, okay, once we get to a point where we're making money, then we want to be successful, have a house, a car, all that. Okay, fine. Once we get the house and car, we don't dream for that anymore. What are your dreams? Well, and then can you get people to rally behind it? Well, so the thing is, I help out that family. That's just one of the things I do. There's others, other things. But it's things that become important to us when we say, hey, I can make a contribution to people out there. I can make a difference. This isn't about being self-centered and being selfish. So when we think about our dreams, we need to make sure our dreams are worthy. If we want to attract people to us and contribute to people's lives and also make them feel important, people that join your team, we have to ask ourselves some questions, For example, ask yourself this, or just when you think about a worthy dream, will your dream allow you to give up at any moment all that you are in order to receive all that you can become? Think about that. Or I could personalize it to give up at any moment all that I am in order to receive all that I can become. I can remember when I first joined For Life, I had to give up a lot of things. I had to give up the idea that I wasn't cut out for this business, because I tried businesses like this before in the past, and I failed. And I thought, it might happen again. I had to stop thinking that way. I had to give that up. I had to retrain my mind. And I had to realize and start thinking, you know what? Maybe it was the choices I made. It wasn't me. I made a bad choice, okay, but I can make a good choice. I can learn from my mistakes, and I can try to make a better judgment on the next company. Well, I did with For Life. So, I gave up in order to receive what I could become. It changed my life. Here's another one that my dream allows me to sense the invisible so that I can do the impossible. Does your dreams motivate you to do that? They should. Make sure they do. To sense the invisible, that you can do the impossible. Let me give you an example. Some of you know my story. When I was broke, I went bankrupt and I had no money at all. Matter of fact, some of the meetings that I went out and did when I got started, I had to borrow gas money just to get home. I can remember when I went, as some of you remember, when I went for walks on Sunday, what I call down Dream Street, where all the rich people live, with all those beautiful plantation homes built prior to the Civil War, beautiful mansions, beautiful manicured lawns, Mercedes, BMW in the driveway, all that. Here I was broke. And all I could think of when I walked down there was I started sensing the invisible, or well, in that case it was visible, but what I'm talking about, what was invisible, was my house, my life. Could I sense it? Could I see it? And do the impossible? What would be the impossible? Going from flat, broke to nothing to having the keys to one of those houses. Is that impossible? Most would say, yeah, for you, yeah, or for anybody. How do you do that? Well, you have to believe it. You have to buy that vision. Because I can remember when I did. I used to think, yeah, this is the way my house is going to look like. This is the way my yard is going to look like. And I'm going to have those rose gardens. In 18 months, I was there. Yeah, that's right. In 18 months, I was moving into my dream home. See, I sensed the invisible so that I could do the impossible. It was I'll never forget that memory. And then my dream allows me to continue when I get discouraged. For where there is no faith in the future, there is no power in the present. That's right. If there's no faith in the future, there's no power in the present. We're going to get discouraged. We're going to go through disappointments. I remember after I finally reached International Diamond in my 3rd month, I was the first one to do it. That's what they told me in the company history. I can remember my check. It's over $5,000 a month, $5,000 that month. I was excited. And that was my goal. And then I can remember my biggest leg left me for money games. Yep, they just left. They went after the money games. They did not see the vision of having hundreds of thousands of people in their organization buying products every month because they believe in them and they want them. They value them. And where are those people today? Nowhere. Nowhere. I had one of them tell me one time, said, yeah, Jeff, you got lucky. I got lucky? What are you talking about? I said to him. I didn't quit. You quit. I didn't quit. Winners never quit. And quitters never win. That's the thing. And that's what he didn't understand at the time. So the thing was, when those people left me, what did I do? I worked with the people that were left behind. I developed them. One of them became a gold international diamond. She lives in South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina. Her name is Terry Schuler. She's the one that opened the Philippines. She's the one that opened India. An amazing woman. Amazing woman. Well, there's something else too. And that is my dream allows me to attract winners because big dreams draw big people. And that eventually came. It wasn't in the beginning. In the beginning, it was just regular, common people. But finally, you start developing as a leader. Some of you on this call that have been joining me regularly are doing that. You're going to attract big people because you're growing. You're growing spiritually. You're growing mentally. Your attitudes are growing. You're like me when I walked down that street. I could see everything. I could sense the invisible, so I could do the impossible. You're becoming like that. And then, really, then that dream is finally going to allow you to see your people and yourself in the future. You're going to be doing some great things together. It's awesome. It's awesome, the future that's really laid out for you. So that really then, we have to create that dream. We have to create that vision. When the vision gets bigger than you really only have two choices. You have to give up on the vision or get a lot of help. there's really four things that we have to realize. And that is that no matter how gifted, no matter how talented we are, we're going to need to ask people to be able to do that very thing I said in the beginning of this mentoring session, and that is, will you join me? I can't do it without you. I value you. Asking others for help is a great way to make them feel like $1,000,000, and here's why. People, number one, people have a need to be needed. They need to be needed. It's in our nature. If you doubt me, well then come on down here to Tennessee. It's probably true where George lives in New Jersey, or some of you from Tampa or whatever. Have you ever noticed that sometimes when you ask people for help, how they go out of their way to give you help? If you want directions or if you want advice, have you ever noticed that? Maybe some aren't. I'm not saying they're all that way, but a lot of people are. Why is it they want to go out of their way? It simply gives them a feeling of importance. It really does. A sense of accomplishment when they can give you some help, some direction. People need to be needed. Now, when people join you in For Life, they need to know that they need people. You know, I'll quote Andrew Carnegie, who says it marks a big step in your development when you come to realize that other people can help you to do a better job than you could alone. He made hundreds of millions of dollars in steel, but he was famous, Andrew Carnegie, for surrounding himself with people that were better at things than he was. You know what? I've always said that the greatest platinum hasn't joined For Life yet. And I still believe that. Not that there's anything wrong with us. I'm just always hoping that, you know, when people say, you know, when we talk about it, who we're looking for, I always laugh and say, well, look, I'm always looking for somebody better at this than me. Better at this than me. That's what we call recruiting up. We're looking for people who have values, who have dreams. They want to succeed in life. We're looking for those. We have to remember that every individual's fate, we're all tied to one another. That's important as leaders when we have downlines. You know, we can't be like a shipwrecked person who's in a lifeboat, and then we have a hole on one side of the boat, and everybody's on that side bailing out the water, and we're sitting on the other end saying, wow, sure I'm glad that hole isn't on my side of the boat. We can't think like that. I've seen leaders like that, where they're not concerned about their downline, and then they wonder why their volumes decrease. You know what? I can be really thankful that in my organization, I don't see that. I don't see that. I see volumes increasing every month. Every month. And that's just a testimony to good leadership. To good leadership. The third point is that people need to know that they are needed. I mean, we all know that we have needs. But I remember this cartoonist, and all of you remember him very well, Charles Schulz. You know, he did the Peanut comic strips. I always loved to watch him, you know, and I even bought a book on all his comic strips. I just love them. But the one thing about Charles Schulz is he really understood the nature and the needs of people. And, for example, in one, and I'm just going to quote it really quick because I thought it was funny. And it had to do with a time where Lucy asked Charlie Brown to help him with her homework. She said, I'll be eternally grateful. She promises. Charlie Brown says, fair enough. I've never had anybody be eternally grateful before. So Charlie Brown just told her, well, just subtract 4 from 10, and that'll let you know how many apples the farmer had left. Lucy says, that's it? That's it? I have to be eternally grateful for that? I'm being robbed. I can't be eternally grateful for this. That was too easy. Charlie Brown just looks at her with a look of discouragement, just a blank look, and he says, well, whatever you think is fair. How about if I just say, thanks, bro, replies Lucy. As Charlie leaves and goes outside, he meets Linus, who asks, where have you been, Charlie Brown? He answers, helping Lucy with her homework. Did she appreciate it? Charlie Brown answers, at greatly reduced prices. At greatly reduced prices. So, I don't know. I mean, if you've ever felt like Charlie Brown, I know I have, you're not alone. But we just need to know, and it illustrates it well, every human longs for a life of significance. We all need to know we are needed and that what we offer to others is of great value. And that's why I've said people, they join a company for money, but what will make them stay is appreciation. And that's what you need to do your downline, my friends. When you have people join you, always pay them compliments. Always let them know if they make power pool, celebrate it with them. If you live in the same area, take them to lunch. If you're not in the same area and you do a conference call like this with your team, announce it, celebrate it, praise them. People want that. And the fourth is that people need to know that they helped. They made a contribution to you. That's really important. Good leaders make people feel that they're at the very heart of things. That's very important. Very important. And I'm going to quote a quote I thought was interesting from a Walter Shipley of Citibank. He had in his charge 68,000 employees. He said, my job is to create the environment that enables people to leverage each other beyond their own individual capabilities. I get credit for providing the leadership that got us there, but our people did it. So he got right at the heart. The people did it. Something that I don't like is, and I've seen this at our conventions, even with leaders that get up on the stage, and they fail to edify the leaders in their organization. Shame on them. Shame on them. We should always edify our leaders in our group. Most important. And I've seen it happen many times. Many times. I remember when I got my first platinum award in Salt Lake City at the convention. And it was funny because at that time, we were told, don't mention any team names. I don't know. There was this thing, at that time, and they only wanted to hear about, only mention. You can mention any individuals, but no team names. Well, you know what? I didn't really agree with that. So when I got on stage, I said, I want to thank 3 organizations for helping me get to platinum. One is International Networkers Team, Herminio Nevadas, Juan Rosaro, the Gold International Diamonds in their downline, as well as leaders under those golds. The second was the Winners Team International out in Southeast Asia. Sherry Din, who's Gold International, Sadiq Din. Third was Terry Schuler, her organization, also in Asia, and of course the United States as well. I made mention, I edified them. In other words, I didn't get up there and say, hey man, look what I did. Nobody did that. Juan Rosaro didn't do it. Herminio did not do it. There's not one person who ever got to platinum by themselves. If they did, please tell me who they are. Please tell me. I want to know this. Because you show me a great platinum, then I'm going to show you three great golds. Or platinums under those platinums. But they're leaders. Now, if we look at them, then I'm going to say, okay, sure, they're great leaders. They didn't do it alone either. Who's under them? You know what? And then who's under them? And who's under them? And you see where I'm going with this? That's right. We can't ever forget that. That's why we edify our downline. And we should edify our upline. It also amazes me when I see people get on stage and they forget to thank the people that helped them when they got started with For Life. I've seen leaders become totally ungrateful, and they want to make it look like they did it on their own. Oh, it grosses me out when I see that. It really does. Really. And why is it? Why do some leaders do that? Because they think it's a sign of weakness if you edify up, and sometimes even down. It's not. It's a sign of strength. It's a sign of humility, that you're acknowledging and you're appreciating those people that helped you get where you are. Let me tell you something. Dave Daughtry, my sponsor, helped me out a lot in the beginning. I edified Dave. He helped Hermenial and Juan. He worked very hard. I always edify them. We have to edify up, edify down. I'm not saying those people that didn't contribute. We can respect them. But I'm talking about the people that did. We should never forget it. So just bringing it on, just bringing it down to home base here. One thing's for sure. Research has proved long ago that when people feel needed, they are far more likely to be productive and creative, and they will always consistently perform better. What we've got to get rid of is any prideful attitude that could cause us to annihilate our leaders from ourselves. We don't want that. We don't want to say it just because I'm in your upline, I know more than you. No, I don't. I'm just really in your upline. I really look at it as I'm in your support line. I'm here to help if you need help. And then that really brings another important question we always need to ask. Who can I help? Who in my organization needs help? They really do. They're hurting. They really need somebody to reach out and maybe do a 3-way call with them. I had a leader do that the other day. I just got into my gym. I was working out and called me and said, "Hey, can you do a 3-way call with me?" Sure, I'd be glad to. And then it doesn't hurt to ask others, even in your downline, for their opinions, for their wisdom. We have some great people in our group. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Well, that really is my message tonight, is developing those skills. Developing those skills, realizing that we can't do it alone, and that as great leaders, we need to realize we need our people. We need to be thankful. We don't want to fall into the trap that they need us. They do need us, but we don't want to think that's the only way we're going to be successful, is that if we play that role that they need us, I don't need them. We don't want to think like that. We really want to have an attitude of appreciation for those in our organization, and we want to make them feel very special. If you do, they'll stay with you forever. They won't leave you. They will not leave you. You'll see how loyal they'll be. Well, everyone, I want to thank you for getting on this mentoring call tonight, and I want you to think about your goals this week, and, think about your dream. Again, if your dream is the only size that you don't need any help, well, it's not a big enough dream. Let's make that dream big. Dream big. Believe or sense the invisible so you can do the impossible. I love that comment. I don't know who created it, but I love it. Think about those goals this week. What can you do? What can you get done? And then message me anytime you need anything via Facebook, through Facebook Messenger, and I'll be glad to help. Thanks for getting on the call. I'm going to open it up, and everybody could say hi, hello, or we can hear the screaming kids. And now I'm going to turn off the recording. And for those of you that are listening internationally, and by the way, you can find these calls. George, who I appreciate so much and value so much, he puts these calls up in our back office. You will find them in your audio library. He also posts the Thursday night product calls that 4Life does. Sometimes I miss those, and then I hate it because I want to hear them. And it's so great when I can go to my audio library and listen to them at my leisure. That's so great. And if you had any of your downline miss this mentoring call, encourage them to go to their audio library and they can listen to it. You know, it's great because if they're in foreign countries outside of the United States, well, you know, it's not even a phone call. You know, it's not going to cost them any money. They can just log in, into their back office and listen. And now I'm going to turn off the recorder and everybody can say good night.